All right, and welcome into another edition of the Vegas Squares podcast. Here we are on a Sunday night, mid-November, doing our NFL recaps. And two of us are wearing, actually all of us are wearing hockey-related apparel. Nevertheless, welcome into the Vegas Squares podcast. It is Week 11's NFL recap. I am sitting here in studio with Spike and Token Tony. Gentlemen, how did your real-life wagers go? We'll get into the hour fuck-around wager, but how did your real-life wagers go this weekend?
Wasn't too bad. I ended up taking Carolina money line as like a happiness hedge, as well as my pick, and that didn't come through.
Wasn't too bad. First pick, done.
Yeah, had the Bears minus the points. That seemed pretty good most of the game. Towards the end, seemed a little sweaty, but. And third, I had the Giants minus 2.5, and that came through.
I went.
Oh, shit, hold on.
What? Oh, did you not turn my mic on?
There it goes.
Did you really not turn my mic
Your
on?
mic actually wasn't on for any of your picks last night either, so.
Oh, okay.
We don't
good.
know any of them.
That means I can actually
You actually had a good week.
I can change all my losers to winners.
There you go.
No, real life bets, I went 3 for 4 in football. The only one I missed, I had the under in Oakland and Arizona. And then
Oakland fucked you in more than one way.
Yeah,
we'll get to that.
They were, god damn. They're so bad they can't even fucking tank the season properly. And I took, in second intermission, I took the Knights minus 2.5 at plus like 150 in game, and that came through after a nice little explosion for a couple of goals at the start of the third period for them.
Yeah, I gotta say, my betting Sunday was a little bit like Citadel. I started out real hot. I was making money. I was hanging in there. And then I went balls deep on the Vikings-Bears game and gave most of it back on Vikings plus 2.5. So,
oof.
Yep, just couldn't move the football. I ended up still with a winner today. Broncos money line plus 310 in game was nice. And I actually ended up tailing a few of my proxies bets. For betting purposes, I guess I tailed the right ones. Giants, Jags, and the Colts this week. So.
Yeah, because he didn't do you any favors in your picks.
No, he did not. So appreciate that, proxy. And then he didn't even have the stones to show up and defend him.
I think he was at Santa Fe Station earlier this afternoon, too. So it's not too far away.
Yeah. Well, douche. No, just kidding. We love you, Proxy. It's all in good fun.
Fake token.
Yeah. Nevertheless, again, this is the Week 11 recap. Here at the Vegas Squares, we want to kind of give you the rundown of what our year-long bet has been since week number 2. Spike has got a nifty spreadsheet that he keeps track of the picks on, so Token and I don't really have to pay attention to it.
I thought I was Felipe moving forward.
You can be Felipe.
Oh, that's true,
He is
yeah.
Felipe. I forgot about that. Okay.
It's only been 36 hours since we recorded. How did both of us forget Felipe?
Because it was only funny for that episode.
Fair enough, I'm back to Token then.
I think this episode you'll be like Farhan. Not as funny. All right, back to Token. But speaking of the spreadsheets, Spike, give everybody who's listening a rundown on, how this thing goes and how we've been doing as of week 11.
Yeah, so it's, again, we're forced to take a side on every Sunday or Monday game, whether it's against the spread, a money line, or a total bet. You get 1 point if you get it right, 1 point if you get it wrong. You can pick a lock of the week, which is worth 3 points either way. You also have that blind bet for that game you don't know anything about. 2 points if you get it right, or nothing if you miss. And going into this week, Aaron was in the lead at 27. Token was at 20, and I'm at 9 points, which doesn't sound all that impressive, but I've had the best week thus far, three weeks
straight
in a row.
weeks.
So
Is that including this week, or are you talking about?
including this week. So I'm catching up here.
Yes, you are. Speaking of this year-long bet, we've decided to make a few amendments to it. If you do happen to be following this every week. And the amendments we are going to make is this. Going forward, starting in Week 12, you may only take one money line favorite. You, as far as the dogs go, you can take as many money line dogs as you'd like, which, although is inadvisable, you can do if you wish. Also going forward, if you choose to take a money line dog of 150 or greater, that will become a 2-point victory instead of a standard 1 point. So I think that's going to settle a lot of our Patriot money lines and kind of these outrageous lock bets of the week.
8.5 money.
Even though we haven't been doing that great before this.
No, we really haven't.
I mean, we've been doing this for 12 weeks, and I have 27 points, and that's in the lead. So it's not like it's anything to write home about. But I think that kind of humbles a little bit of the contest going forward. What are we watching here? Oh, we just watched this. Is that Gonzaga College? Or is that you think that's high school? All right, good talk.
Yeah. There's not enough people there for it to be a school as recognizable as Gonzaga.
Fair enough. Nevertheless, best thing you saw in Week 11?
It was high school.
Was it?
Yeah.
Best thing you saw in Week 11 was high school?
Yes.
Yeah, he likes looking at those high school girls from
it was the
not too far away.
WCAC championship.
His favorite words to hear are, "I'm Chris Hansen." Okay, what was the best thing you saw in Week 11? I didn't think I asked a hard question.
Football.
Jesus Christ.
What was the best thing you saw in Week 11?
I'm going to let him keep digging this hole because this is hilarious to me.
My first bold prediction coming true that you guys denied.
Yeah, that wasn't true. I mean, that wasn't bold.
Yeah.
It was true.
It was true.
It wasn't bold. Wasn't bold. Considering they have like 5 or 6 of them this year.
Yeah.
So you still have a shot to get your bold prediction, though. It's there's still one more game left.
That is true.
That'd be a hell of a result if that.
Oh my God.
I thought it was maybe going to happen in the Oakland and Arizona game. They would miss an extra point, and both quarterbacks would have below 150, and the game would end in a tie.
Oh, that would have been lovely.
No overtime games this week, though. What's the best thing you saw this week in Week 11?
Riverboat Ron going for it and getting fucked, giving hope to Lions fans.
Yeah, I know. How did you not say the Lions' victory was the best thing you saw this week?
Because I lost money on it. But it does help my season long for them to win the division, but that's still very slim.
The best thing I saw this week was a Phillip Rivers fuck up and subsequent temper tantrum on the sidelines. Always makes for good. I don't dislike Phillip Rivers. I just feel like he is the NFL's version of a baby. He not in a bad. I mean, yes, in a bad way, but not like in the worst way. He looks like a baby, and he definitely acts like a baby on the sidelines.
Yes, but he also is super Christian and doesn't swear. So when he's throwing those temper tantrums,
Gosh darn it!
No,
very
I heard when he takes it, like he's like, "Oh, nice hit" or whatever. Or,
Mother Flanders. All right, well, without further ado, we want to thank the sponsors before we get into the games. 12-Ounce Sports Radio, ChaiPoker.com, and, of course, VGK Pop Sockets. All right, let's dive in to the games. We'll start with your Lions and their 20-19 victory, which apparently, as the only Lions fan probably in this area code, he's pissed off.
Yeah. And, I mean, to be fair, I can understand why a Lions fan gets pissed off after a win because it starts to give them hope, and every time they've had hope in their adult lives, it's been crushed.
Well, either that,
unless if you're 100 years old, I mean.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Either that or you have a higher draft pick, which pisses you off.
Yes, that's true.
Well, open up the talk here. You know, you won, Riverboat Ron gambled and failed. It's hard to really say, a lot. Both teams looked actually pretty good playing this game offensively. Cam Newton threw for 300 yards. Stafford threw for 220. Kerryon Johnson ran for 87 before getting hurt and leaving the game, which was basically their only source of offense on the ground. And after trading away Golden Tate, Kenny Golladay has stepped up as the number one receiver in, obviously he didn't have Marvin Jones on the other side, so I mean, in a game like this where you Carry On went down, I believe, in the third quarter.
Yeah, end of third quarter.
End of the third quarter. So going into the fourth quarter, you had no Carry On, no Marvin Jones, and no Golden Tate, and we're still able to pull out a win against a 6-3, now 6-4 team. And when you and I were talking in the the Sunday night game, you actually felt a little hope, as far as your standing in the division.
Yeah,
especially with the Thanksgiving game coming up.
Yeah, I think with the Bears playing on Sunday night this week, with it being a shorter week, it's going to affect them more. Trubisky took a little late hit on one of their final drives that led up to the last field goal that they had, and Trubisky.
Why are we talking about the Bears?
He was talking about the Sunday night game.
Yeah. And
that's what happens when you don't pay attention, Beardsy.
Usually it's me that's not paying attention, but
that's also true.
Yeah, I think with Carry On getting hurt, though, our hopes are down the river 20 years down the road.
Down the river 20 years down the road. So Carry On Johnson's injury has set your franchise back 20 years.
More than likely.
Oh, my goodness.
As a Lions fan, you probably understand.
I guess, yeah. I would say Matt Stafford has set your franchise back a few years with that contract.
That's for damn sure. But.
Going over to the the Carolina Panthers side, Cam Newton, not a bad game. Threw a bad pass at the end. Had the guy wide open for the 2-point conversion. My philosophy on that is when you're the better team, you want to extend the game because your talent will prevail. But never underestimate the power of Riverboat Ron, I guess.
Yeah, that was shocking that they went for 2 in that spot.
Yeah, well, it's the kind of play where if they get it, he's a genius, and if they miss, he's a dog. But he had faith in Cam Newton to be able to put the ball in the end zone that one time as opposed to, going into overtime, getting the coin flip, and, not destroying the house.
Yeah.
But I understand trying to go for it, especially on the road. I
think it's a low percentage play compared to end of third quarter going into early fourth quarter.
I think it makes absolutely zero sense. You're the better team. You've been playing better ball, especially late to get back in that game, and you cannot afford to lose and become 6-4 when the team above you is now 9-1 or 10-1. What are they now? 10-1?
9-1.
9-1.
Yeah.
You can't afford missteps.
And even if they get it, Stafford still has a chance to go down the field, kick a field goal with Raider, and
that's neither here nor there. You take the points to tie the game up
and extend the game because you're the better team, and
you have a higher percentage. The better team has a higher percentage of winning the game, and maybe Token would have had a shot at a tie game because that's what he was looking for in his bold prediction.
That would probably please me, yeah.
Would have pleased me. Dance puppets, please me. All right.
I will be content with that, I guess.
Give us the statistics from the bet from this one.
Now I have to find it.
Did we recap our Monday night picks?
We have not, but let me do this one first.
Fuck it.
The two of you were both on the same side taking Carolina Moneyline. And Riverboat Ron decided to fuck you.
I think actually Cam Newton fucked us. That guy was wide open, and he completely missed.
Whoever you wish to blame, you did not get the point for that one.
I blame Cam.
But I did, because I had under 49.5.
And even the thing is Cam blamed himself on that one, too. If you listen to the press conference, he said it's a tough one to swallow. I hit that ball 9 out of 10 times. So, hey, nothing you can do.
Yeah, they're still in good shape for leading into a possible playoff run for sure. So,
yeah, they're 6-4. They get the Seahawks, Buccaneers, and Browns next. So there's a good chance they could be somewhere around 9-4, 8-5 at that point.
8-5 is probably more likely. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, the only one I really see them going down is the Seahawks, if at all. And then that sets up, after that 3-game stretch, that sets up a tough end of the season. I think they got to be 9-4 at that point, because then they go Saints, Falcons, Saints.
Yeah, and even if they get 1 out of 3 in that 10-6, I mean, good wild card chance.
10-6 would probably get you in the NFC.
Yeah.
Especially now
9 and
with
7, maybe not.
especially now with the NFC East probably going to be won around 9 and 7. So, all right, let's go to the next game, which is Cowboys and Falcons. And let's how did we do in that one? Cowboys won 22-19 on that game-winning field goal by Maher.
Yeah, that was one I somehow screwed it up and scored it incorrectly. It was
Nah, it was fine. You can leave it the way it is.
yeah, no, I'm definitely not going to because it gives me an extra point. Aaron with Atlanta -3, Token a little safer at Atlanta money line. I was the only one believing in Dallas taking them plus the 3 and getting the point for the game.
Let me be clear again that I had my picks based on proxy. Although I gave way to that decision, so it still has to fall on me and defend the proxy. But I can't remember if I made the gesture then, but I liked Dallas too in this spot. There are a couple I agree with him that we were incorrect about, and there was a couple that I disagreed with him that I was incorrect about. But I liked the Cowboys, and I especially like their position now in the NFC East with Alex Smith basically now becoming a Pirate.
Yeah, we'll get forward to that as we talk about that game. But yeah, this one really relied on Zeke Elliott moving the ball forward, 200 total yards of receiving, rushing, and a lot of good clock management by the Cowboys for sure. Game-winning field goal. A lot of close games for them. If they continue to squeak it out, they might sneak in the playoffs. So
I think they're winning the East at this point. They look very good.
Yeah, I don't know who in the East can beat them. And Dak, rather pedestrian game, 22 of 32, which is nice. But only 208 yards, no picks, but no scores either. Well, he ran one in, but not with his arm. I don't know. This team lives and dies with Zeke right now.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was about to say. Yeah,
yeah, and as nice as the other weapons like Beasley and Cooper are, Elliott once again outgained them through the air, and that's probably not a way that you can win because you get a team with a good defense that can shut down Zeke, and this team goes nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, they're virtually one-dimensional. The Amari Cooper edition hasn't worked so far, but it's only been 3 games. Hopefully he's getting acclimated and adjusted to the offense, being able to become the number 1 receiver, or at least be able to formulate a plan in this group of misfits. Julio had another big game, another touchdown. He's on a little bit of a streak right now, but nothing really going. This team really misses Devontae Freeman, and I thought Tevin Coleman would be a guy to be able to
step it up a little.
Well, I mean, when they were together, they were almost 1A and 1B, and Tevin Coleman showing me through the course of a season he can't be a workhorse back. He can't be a dependable back.
But he's a good B when not carrying the weight of the load.
Well, that's what kind of surprised me. I mean, he averaged 7.3 yards a carry, but he only had 8 carries. So it was like, at what point? I mean, this game was pretty much close all the way. So it just, to me, having only 18 carries as a team at home, being able to, control the clock has to be huge against a team, like you said, that's virtually one-dimensional and no-dimensional when Zeke's not, playing well. That pick by Matt Ryan really kind of was the dagger turnover, because there really wasn't anything other than that really turned this game one way or the other. Back and forth, last team with the ball won.
Yeah.
Yep, and Cowboys have aside from the Saints in 2 weeks, they've got a relatively easy schedule coming up. We don't know what we're going to get out of the Redskins anymore. Then they're home against the Eagles.
That's a Thanksgiving game against the Redskins.
Yeah, and then the week after that they have the Saints. So, and on a Thursday night they should lose that one pretty easily. But then it's home against the Eagles, road against the Colts, home against the Buccaneers, and on the road against the somehow still breathing Giants.
That's something you don't see very often. You play the Thanksgiving game, and then you get the next week's Thursday game.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Nice full week's rest.
You're right. It's not too terribly difficult. I mean, I imagine that's a loss against the Saints, just based on the way they're playing. But every other game's gettable in that spot. 10-6. If they can get 9-7, I think they can win that division. Especially, I think they can beat the Bucks, beat the Giants, and beat the Redskins. That puts them at 8-5, and then get one of the Eagles and Colts games. I think that's good enough for the division.
Possibly. I think Redskins, if they can figure something out on quarterback, I mean, whether they want to go with Colt McCoy moving forward or...
I thought Colt McCoy didn't look terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I think their defense is good enough to produce some W's, and they might still be on top at the end of the season, so...
Yeah, they definitely have the best record right now, obviously, at 6-4, but if they go into that Thursday night game or that Thanksgiving game and lose it, they're going to fall to second place.
Yeah.
Unprofessional.
Says the man that didn't turn my microphone on at the beginning of the podcast. Yes, I was the one being unprofessional here.
That was the producer. She quit like 6 months ago?
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen her.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, Titans Colts. I'll let Spike kind of, after he gives us the results, explain this one, because last week the Titans put a hurt on the Patriots, and now they go into the drum and get the hurt put on them by Indianapolis and Captain Andrew Luck.
Yeah, and this didn't surprise me in the slightest. But it did, however...
The score did.
Well, no, not at all, actually. And
a blowout. Wow.
It took Proxy by surprise, because he gave you Tennessee plus the 1.5, but Token and I were...
I was with you guys and Captain Andrew Luck.
Yeah, we've actually watched NFL football this year, and we knew that Indy minus the 1.5 was actually the right bet.
The smarter play, yeah.
Yeah, it's... What we saw in Tennessee and New England is Tom Brady is the worst quarterback... or has the worst quarterback rating when he's facing a blitz. He's at like 57.5 or something like that.
And that's what the Titans threw at him.
And the Titans blitzed just about every goddamn down. So we knew going into this game that Luck was better against the blitz, and that Vrabel, while he knew the Patriot system from having played in New England for a decade or more, didn't have that same kind of connection with Indianapolis. Indianapolis was able to go in there and steamroll against this Tennessee team where I don't even know what's going on with Mariota at this point.
I think he's just an overrated quarterback in my mind, and they've got I think some changes to make. Otherwise, they're going to be towards the bottom of the division moving forward for years to come. So,
yeah, I mean, I know he got the elbow injury in this game here, but yeah, the one playoff shot.
They were already out of it by then.
Yeah.
Colts defense somewhat surprised me this week, kind of containing the Titans and moving forward with that. But I think all around they're a good football club right now. So
yeah, and after the win, Captain Andrew Luck decided to write to his mother.
All right, let's hear it.
I am overcome with joy. Our unit was victorious against the Tennessee Titans. That is now 4 battles in a row where we have experienced triumph. Magnificent. My sidearm has never been more true. The resolve is mighty. Fortune smiles, and so do my Colts. I miss you, Andrew.
I like it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's pretty poetic from a guy that went 23 of 29 for 297 and 3 touchdowns today.
I want them to keep it up and win the division, so we hear from more Captain Andrew Luck.
Yes, we need more Captain Andrew Luck through the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the longer they are, playing good football, the more that this becomes better and better, and hopefully Captain Andrew Luck and whoever controls that steps his game up, because they've been pretty good so far, but apparently the mother has been AWOL. There has not been responses to Captain Andrew Luck in the last 3 weeks.
Oh, no.
Because someone decided to intercept the parcel package and write a rebuttal of their own asking the whereabouts of Captain Andrew Luck's mother. So we'll have to, hopefully she's not dead, like from dysentery or crossing the river.
An Oregon Trail reference? Wow. We are fucking old.
Yeah, I remember. Do you remember playing that on the Mac when you were in?
I remember playing it on DOS.
I remember playing it on a Macintosh.
Yeah, no, we had.
You have died of dysentery. I didn't even know what it was. I'm like, fuck, what is killing me?
Syphilis.
Is that yesteryear's syphilis? Dysentery? What is dysentery? I don't even know.
I think it's where you shit yourself to death.
Nice.
Look at that's us every week.
If there was going to be a disease I'd die from. What did you even say?
I said that's us every week.
And it's just you. Except for the last podcast. I had too much pork roast.
It's that beef stew.
That beef stew was heavy, yeah.
Oh, we are terrible people.
Nevertheless, Colts 38-10. T.Y. Hilton back in the fold. Marlon Mack had an average game. Nothing really going for the Titans. All right. Bucks and Giants. How'd we do?
That was a little bit interesting. And I actually liked this game because Tampa Bay is such a dumpster fire that they keep going. They can't make up their mind between Fitzmagic and famous Jameis. But we actually all got a point in this one. Proxy took the Giants' money line using the exploit of taking the money line for the favorite instead of minus the points. Token and I were both on the Giants minus the 2.5, but I took it as my blind bet because I still don't actually know if Eli Manning is conscious or if this is just like a work of science fiction that's keeping his arm moving. So,
17 of 18 seemed pretty conscious.
Yeah, no, he actually did all right.
I think Barkley is looking better week by week too, and coming up with
3 touchdowns.
Yeah, 3 total touchdowns. Almost 200 total yards.
I mean, this is exactly what happened when Winston got benched and Fitzpatrick came in. I think that was against Carolina. They were getting throttled. Fitzpatrick came in, got them all the way back to make it a close game, and Winston will get the start until he sucks, and within like 2 or 3 drives, and then he'll get benched for Fitzpatrick. Actually, I think this is the last of the quarterback switching. Jameis gets the last 6 games for the Bucs to figure out if Jason Light, the GM, doesn't get fired. He's got to figure out if it's Jameis Winston or if it's draft pick number 1 coming in April.
Yeah, or make a move in free agency because clearly whatever they have ain't working. And as far as I know,
I think Ryan Fitzpatrick will be a free agent at the end of
I think both of them are free agents this year.
Winston, they have a team option on him for his 5th year. Mm-hmm. But it's at like $20 million.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, so
you got to take into account on-field and off-field, which is funny because when the switch happened, naturally I jumped to Twitter. I didn't post anything, but I decided to read what people turned this into a race issue that Jameis should never have been benched, and I'm just sitting here thinking, they're both fucking terrible. They should both be benched. I really honestly believe
the kicker should be the quarterback.
Yeah, like Cairo Santos should be throwing passes at this point. It may not be as bad as the situation.
Be like locked for Jacksonville.
But it's just amazing to see how these things play out into everything, like that. So anyways, nevertheless...
I mean, if there is racism going on at the quarterback position in the NFL, it's the fact that Nathan Peterman was just looked at by the Lions, but Colin Kaepernick was not.
Colin Kaepernick was not for a whole different reason. Colin Kaepernick will never be looked at again because of the circus that comes to town.
Right, I understand that, but...
if Nathan Peterman had a circus behind him, he would not be looked at anymore either because he's fucking terrible as well. I get what you're saying, the point you're trying to make. Point is if there was not a circus behind Kaepernick, he would have a job. I 100%
Maybe Tampa Bay wants Stafford.
He's far and away better than anything on the Buccaneers. He's far and away better than anything currently right now on the Bills. And he's far and away better than probably, like we've talked about, many of the backups and third stringers. But they don't have circuses attached to them. And the problem is Nathan Peterman gets looked at in situations like that because he's another arm for teams to waste in practice.
Fair point. Or maybe the Lions know something that we don't know and they're fucking bullshit nuts.
It'd be crazy if, Belichick brings him in and he's, succeeds Tom Brady and is, an all-world Hall of Famer.
I kind of want that to happen now.
Yeah, I mean, well, that would be crazy. Anyways, what are we talking about? Bucks Giants.
Yeah, Bucks Giants.
Bucks Giants got us on a tangent of Kaepernick and Peterman. Anyways, I mean, not much to say. The bright spot was Saquon Barkley. Peyton Barber had a good game too.
Mike Evans for Tampa had a pretty decent game too. And
I was going to say I didn't think Tampa had a running game, but Peyton Barber.
They don't usually. But Peyton Barber's been supposed to be the guy for for the long time now. Hopefully, if he can get going soon. I mean, obviously they're so far out of this division. It's probably doesn't matter at this point. But
They could just work on fundamentals and move forward with that. Yeah.
I mean, if you're Dirk Cutter, how do you keep up the motivation? I mean, you're probably a lame duck coach. Most of these guys are, I mean, at least on that defense, have to be overhauled.
Oh, you tell them that they're fighting for their jobs for next year. I mean, that's all you can do is just
Who's
say,
fighting for their jobs? I
players.
have to get rid of all of them. They all suck.
I know they're all terrible, but you have to tell them that they're fighting for their job for next year. Can't tell them that they're all gone.
How many more home games does Tampa have left? That's the question.
They played 6 away games so far.
1, 2, 3. Shit, 1, 2, 3.
They have 4.
4.
Yeah.
So they've played 4 home games. Crap. I was going to say, if they only had like 2 games left, I would just tell them they all suck and not worry about having to sell tickets. But, of course, they've got 4 home games left out of the 6. So.
Hey, we could have went to tonight's game for pretty dirt cheap in L.A. Like $50.
Really?
Yeah. That's because they only had a week to sell them.
Oh, that's fair. All right.
And they gave away a lot of them, which kudos to the NFL. They gave away a lot of them to the first responders of the wildfires and the families displaced by their homes as well. So
Yeah.
be a lot of those people. Freeloaders. I'm just kidding.
I mean, it's the same thing when the Bills-Jets game got moved to Detroit. They gave away all those tickets, actually.
Well, yeah, who's buying those? I think they do that for regular season Lions games, too. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Can't even give those away for free. When going into the stadium,
Oh, sorry, I'm getting my haircut then.
when going into the stadium, they check for guns, not because you would shoot somebody, because you blow your brains out by probably then in the first quarter.
Nice attempt. All right, Texans-Redskins. Texans-Redskins.
Oh,
This
Joe
was the
Theismann
fun game.
game.
The Joe Theismann game, yeah. If you haven't seen the Alex Smith injury video, don't watch it if you have a weak stomach. Because, his leg looked like Gumby. It was bad.
Yeah, that wasn't pretty.
Nevertheless, the line was 3 in this one, and we all talked about how strange it was for the Washington to be a dog. They lined up for a shot to win. They did not. It was 23-21 Texans. I think we were in consensus on this one?
Nope.
No? Okay.
No, because Proxy decided to give you under 42.5.
Fuck. I liked the Texans the Redskins plus 3.
Yeah, no, Token and I both had the Skins plus the 3. Token actually taking it as his blind bet, so getting the extra point on that one.
Ship it. Yeah, I actually thought the Redskins towards the end would have that game-winning field goal opportunity and come through, but they came up just a bit short.
Yeah, well, it was a 64-yard field goal.
Yeah.
63, yeah.
Yes.
It was a nice attempt.
Potato,
but-
tomato.
I mean, that's about the best you can expect Colt McCoy to do, coming in late in the game and driving him down to even get remotely close for an attempt like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, moving forward, Redskins, it's going to be a rough end of the year, but maybe they'll come through with it, so.
I got to imagine they're going to stick with McCoy. I mean,
He didn't look too bad, as you said, so, I mean.
I don't know who else they would have.
I don't think they have anybody, but I mean, who do you bring in for? You bring in.
You're
McCoy.
not going to bring in Cutler or anything like that, so.
No, but I mean,
You trade for Jameis Winston.
it's too late for that.
Yeah. Kaepernick?
Nathan Peterman.
There you go. But you're right. I mean, you can't bring in anybody. Your next 2 games are divisional games. Actually, your next 3 games are divisional games. Colt McCoy's got to be able to do something. I mean, he's got to be able to, I would say, at least win 2 of those, which, I mean, the Giants game, he's got a good shot, but at Cowboys, at Eagles, that's not very promising for the Redskins right now. They look like they're in trouble. And at the beginning of the season, Jay Gruden was on the hot seat. And this is a situation where, how does this play out for Jay Gruden? I mean, they were 6-3. They played really good defense, which is what they're going to have to rely on for the rest of the year. But now their franchise quarterback is out.
I know. I mean, they have to look at Colt McCoy the same way other teams with superstar defenses have looked at quarterbacks. I'm thinking back to like the Baltimore Ravens winning the Super Bowl with like the Joe Flacco's and the what's his name, eyes too close and cried about Deflategate, fucking idiot. bald guy on ESPN, then got fired because he was such a schmuck.
Eyes too close.
Who was the Ravens quarterback when they won the Super Bowl?
Dilfer.
Dilfer, thank you.
Okay. It's a stretch.
Yeah, no, you look at you look at Colt McCoy as a game manager. You hope he goes in there, doesn't make mistakes, doesn't fumble it, doesn't throw interceptions. Because 6 of 12 for 54 yards isn't great, but the one touchdown he threw was a beautiful throw. I mean, it was perfect. And plus 5 rushes for 35 yards, so that it still gives you a weapon to complement Adrian Peterson. These are the types of things that you have to look at and then use your defense, which was not only strong at the beginning of the year, but got better when they traded for Clinton Dix. That, they can still be competitive. I don't think they can win the division, but I think they can still make it a fight until the end of the year.
Well, that's the thing you talked about, complimenting Adrian Peterson. It's like now so much more of this offense has to go through a 33-year-old running back. That doesn't bode well.
No, but I mean...
But he's not your average 33-year-old running back.
And I mean, he played great today, only 51 yards, but 2 scores, and, found the openings he needed to today, so...
There is good news, though. You guys ready?
Hang on. I gotta open... Go ahead.
Okay. So, about 2 hours ago, there was a tweet that came out that the Redskins are planning on bringing in... Are you ready for this?
Sure.
Do it. E.J. Manuel?
That might be worse than Peterman.
T.J. Yates?
Ooh.
That'd be a little more interesting, yeah.
Kellen Clemens?
Okay.
Josh Johnson?
Ooh.
And friend of the program...
No.
Mark Sanchez! Oh, Mark Sanchez will be brought in to work out for the Washington Redskins.
Wow.
I like that one.
Wow.
As much as I think it hurts them the most. But
Oh, fucker still hasn't answered our tweet.
Yeah, we got to get the producer on that. She's got to be sending these things out
Slacking.
probably a couple of times a week to really get his attention.
Yeah. Lazy.
Or get blocked, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I got blocked this weekend on Twitter. That was kind of fun.
Did you?
Yeah, just people who like to talk shit about UCF with having no facts.
Ah, okay.
Basically, the guy comes out and says, UCF has one of the worst scoring defenses I've ever seen coming into this game. And I just showed him a graphic that showed that they were only giving up 20.9 points a game.
yeah.
And I said, please research before you tweet bullshit. And then all of a sudden, and then I just go to respond, and then I click on this thing, and it showed I was blocked.
Nice.
So people like to push their own agenda with no facts, so I like to put them in their place. It's the first time I ever got blocked on Twitter.
I was going to say, I don't know that I've ever been blocked. Is there a way that you can look up who's blocked you?
I don't think so.
Oh.
But maybe.
I should try harder to get blocked.
Yeah. I don't usually try that hard, but I didn't think I was trying that hard on that one, so you never quite know.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move into what was a clunker for 3 quarters turned out to be the quarter of the week. Steelers-Jaguars. I mean, 16-6 going in the fourth. It was like, I'm sure Spike was cursing out everyone and throwing his remotes everywhere, considering he was so confident he took Steelers -10.
Not only that, but I had Roethlisberger in fantasy, and
He actually ended up having a good year.
Yeah.
Or a good day.
He still did fine, but still.
Nevertheless, the Steelers won 20-16 on what seemed like the longest 30 seconds of football with all the penalties, which I will admit the face mask penalty was warranted. It was a penalty. I mean, for all the phantom penalties we have in the NFL, that one was warranted for sure. How'd we do in this game? I mean, I know how you did.
Yeah, no, I bricked it, obviously. Token also was on Pittsburgh -5.
No good.
Which was no good. Proxy actually helped you out here. He took under 46.5 as a blind bet, so
Nice.
he got you the extra point on that one.
Which I would have been on the Jaguars, so it would have worked out either way for me. So, what do you say on this one? Everybody who was anybody in this game feasted. Fournette had 95 yards and a touchdown. Brown had 117 yards and a touchdown. Big Ben had a big game.
Connor had nothing today.
That's true. That's fair enough, yeah. Jalen Ramsey had 2 picks.
Yep.
Jags knew if they had to keep this one close, they would have to stop Connor and move forward with that. So
yeah, and they did. I mean, 9 carries, 25 yards. They shut him down.
And they also shut down one part of your bold prediction when Pittsburgh crossed that goal line. Blake Bortles with 104 yards would have been the winner of that game.
Yeah, that would have been nice. But, oh well, so none of us hit the bold predictions, or at least not yet. So I still have a chance.
I still
hit
have
it
a chance.
tomorrow.
I think you both have a chance. I don't have a chance.
No, yours was one specific game.
Raiders by double digits.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody but Connor ate this game. Seems like, and the whole Jacksonville receiving corps. Oh man, this ugly football.
Yeah.
Didn't watch too much of this game. I'm not gonna lie until that last
drive.
fourth quarter. No, I watched the fourth quarter.
Okay.
Yeah, I spent a good chunk of the morning games on the Red Zone channel, and they pretty much ignored this game until the fourth quarter, and then it was dominating the screen at any given time. Mm-hmm. So it was, I got to see a good chunk of that. But, Roethlisberger in the end, 27-47 for 314 and 2 scores, but those 3 picks were real ugly. Real ugly.
You talked about the Red Zone channel, and I heard, what's his name, Siciliano on there in the afternoon games when Philadelphia kicked off and it was a touchback. And he goes, and New Orleans will take it at their own 25, which for them is pretty much the red zone.
That's probably the furthest they've been pinned back to start a drive in a while.
That was just funny because it's kind of true. I mean, and then, of course, Mark Ingram breaks like a 60-yard run, and they're literally like on the 22-yard line.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh has won 6 in a row, and
the Jags have lost 6 in a row.
Yeah, well, I mean, I believe the Jags are pretty much done as far as any hopes. That was obviously their last
just
chance.
fighting for draft picks status.
Yeah, I mean, they're 3-7 right now at this point. After beating Pittsburgh in the divisional game, they've been 3-8 since that game. I mean, they've been trending completely downward, other than their big Super Bowl against New England.
Yeah, that was, week 2 this season? Week 2 or 3, whatever it was. Yeah. No, they started the season 3-1.
I think it was week 2 because then after the Lions game, that was when the sky was falling.
Yeah, and now sitting at 3-7, squarely in the shitter.
Start doing draft prep.
Yeah. That's not a good look for a team that was just a couple of plays away from the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah,
it's true. All right, Bengals Ravens. We did not have Joe Flacco, which made me confident in the Ravens money line. That came through, but I don't get to make my picks this week. So how did we do on these picks?
This was a
consensus, right?
Yeah, through 11 weeks, 10 weeks of the contest, we have only had 8 consensus picks, and this was one of them. We were all on Cincinnati plus the 4.
And it came through.
It did come through. We all got the point on this one, and our consensus picks now sit at 4-4 on the season.
Oh, not bad, getting up to evenish.
Yeah. Yeah, we're looking all right on those for now.
What do you guys think of Lamar Jackson? 150 yards passing and 117 yards rushing.
Tell me he got a yard taken away. God damn it! It still says 150.
That was fantastic when I was texting you about that. Because I was like, what was your bold prediction again? And you're like, less than 150 yards passing. And I wanted to make sure, is it less than 100? Yes. Okay, good. And then I sent you the screenshot of Lamar Jackson passing for exactly 150 yards.
I saw that, and then I went to about 4 different websites to see, somebody have him at 149. No, 150.
Yeah, he definitely controlled the pace of this game by running like a madman out there, getting 117 yards on 27 carries.
Yeah, I think that was the game plan for him, and I would say probably 20 to 21 of those were probably designed runs. If Flacco comes back, I mean, is he benched? They're 5-5. I mean,
I say yes, and I would have said that probably. I'm surprised he hadn't been benched a couple of weeks earlier because of the Ravens games that I saw. Win or lose, Flacco was throwing bad footballs. He was not hitting receivers in stride. He was either throwing it wide or throwing it short. receivers were able to adjust to get to the ball, but instead of being able to hit him and then have the receiver run downfield, now the receiver's in the middle of the field and they're getting swarmed by 2 or 3 defenders at any given time. I did not like what I saw out of Flacco at all this year. So if and when Flacco gets healthy enough to come back, I don't know that he gets his job back. At least not on the Ravens. Maybe he tries to find work elsewhere.
Well, I have good news. Well, depending on who you ask, it would be good news. It helps my case in the whole Ravens being a playoff contender, and Spike disagreeing with me.
I thought you gave up on that 2 weeks ago.
No, I mean...
He did, but now that the Ravens have won another game...
Well, no,
now
I
he's
haven't
back
given
on.
up on it. We still have a bet. I have a bet with him that they're going to make the playoffs. That doesn't just go away. But after week number, what are we, in 11?
Yes.
If the season ended today, the Baltimore Ravens would be the 6th seed. Based on tiebreakers.
I was going to say, there's like 17 teams at 5-5 in the AFC. How in the hell are they?
Because they have the tiebreaker over Indianapolis and Miami based on win percentage in conference games, and division tiebreaker over Cincinnati based on the fact that they have the best win percentage in division games because they've each won a game against each other. They also have eliminated Tennessee if the season ended today based on points scored.
Jesus. So the Ravens coming up actually.
They have a relatively easy schedule.
I was going to say it doesn't look. They have 2 losses that I can see. They're home against the Raiders,
Chiefs
that's
and
a
Chargers.
Win. Yeah, they're on the road against the Falcons. That should still be a win. On the road against the Chiefs, they're fucked. Home against the Buccaneers, that's a win. Road against the Chargers, they're probably going to lose that game, although I'm not 100% confident. And then they host the Browns. So they've got 2 more losses coming up that I can see. That puts them at, what, 9-7 for the year?
Yeah,
Do you think that gets them in the playoffs in the AFC?
Well, based on the fact that right now for the 6th seed, there's 5 teams at that 5-5, and 5 teams that don't really feel like they're going to be running the table for the last 6 games. I think that 9-7's got a shot. The only one I see running the table right now for the last few games, and that's only because I'm biased, is Indianapolis. I have a futures bet on them, and I also said that they would win this division too, which looking a lot better than they were a month ago.
Yeah, no shit.
And they have Dolphins, Jaguars, Texans coming up their next 3 weeks, and then finish with Cowboys, Giants, and Titans. So I really don't think they have that tough of a schedule.
Just probably the Houston game is probably the toughest on that slate.
Sure, Houston and Dallas probably back to back. But I mean, again, that they win one of those, I think they can be 10-6 after starting 1-5. That would be freaking crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways,
10-6 would definitely get you in the playoffs at that spot.
Yeah, probably. Anyways, anything else regarding Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, or what we think about the Bengals? I mean, they obviously miss A.J. Green. We said that last week. They don't really have that emergency bailout receiver. Yeah. Tyler Boyd's just shown that he's just a third receiver at this point.
Yeah. That between that and having absolutely no running game to speak of, Cincinnati is not going in the right direction here.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Mixon. I mean, they keep drafting these scat back kind of guys. You know, Joe Mixon's not in a between the tackles guys. Same with Bernard. They combined for 14 carries and 19 total yards. 19 rushing yards. Joe Mixon and Bernard seem like they'd probably be better lining up as slot receivers at this point, and maybe finding a guy. It's okay. You shouldn't flip off John Gruden. That's not nice. Let's move on to that game actually, because that's the next game I'm looking at here. 23-21 Raiders.
Motherfuckers.
For multiple reasons, he's given them the one finger salute.
Well, actually, this game was really good for one of my futures bets. I don't remember if I told you about this.
I think I remember.
Which one is this?
I finally have won a futures bet, of no team getting 15 or more losses.
Oh.
And with the Raiders' victory, every team in the NFL has 2 wins or better. Yep. So
what was the line on that?
-110 either way.
Oh, okay. Not bad though.
So I made a whopping $10 on an $11 bet.
Hey!
Ship it.
Yep. Speaking of, I got to check. I have a salami bet from today. How many goals were scored? So
Oh.
I have to check that one.
I thought you were talking about deli meats at first.
No, you don't know what the grand salami is?
I know what it is now.
Not that one, no.
Yeah.
It's the daily proposition on William Hill.
For hockey goals.
Hockey goals. How many goals will be scored in the game? And
Well,
it's-
I know Knights
I don't
came
know.
put
Just,
up 9,
I'll look
so-
later. It's not important. Raiders Cardinals. I did not watch this game, so if anybody has any input, other than Mr. Gay Porn himself having 2 touchdowns,
I was,
he didn't understand that joke when I texted you guys. Do you don't understand it either? Do you?
no, I had no idea what you're talking, what you're getting at there. I'm trying to ignore you so I can get onto my point about where I was when I was watching this game. You done?
Yeah.
All right. I was at
John Gruden has a 10-year contract.
if anybody is
Miss Libby's
hiring
car is lime green.
for a co-host on a podcast and you want to take me away from this, I am available. You can email me at spikemcawesomeofficial@gmail.com
Billy likes to drink soda.
or on Twitter at spikemcawesome to get me. Actually, I might be going back on like the actual radio pretty soon. Not on a regular gig, but
Oh, do tell.
every once in a while.
Well, we don't pay enough here, so.
Yeah, no shit. I'm just worried about the fact that I'm going to have mics in front of my face and forget that, the fucking FCC exists and might drop a couple of F-bombs live on AM radio.
That'd be cool. You'll have a very short-lived gig.
Yeah, should be fun.
What radio? 1490
Yeah, no, 1400.
or 1400? Yeah,
Yeah.
that one on Jones.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool little studio. But then again, I have nothing to compare it to because I've only ever been in college radio stations before that, so. Anyway.
Probably pretty similar.
Yeah, we're a little off topic here. Yeah, this game sucked. Move on.
That's about it. All right, fine, fair enough.
The kick is up and it's good. And
Fuck you! Fucking, you and I were both on the same line. I don't know why you're.
well, no. I was actually hoping for the Cardinals to miss the extra point towards the end. It go overtime and they both tie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So the under's good. Your prop or your bold prediction doesn't come in.
Yeah, that would have sucked. Both quarterbacks got under 150 and they tied. That would have been like only in our bet. What were our picks in this one?
Token and I both had under 41, and
We had
Proxy actually got you a point, picking Oakland
Raiders.
plus the 5.5.
Yep.
He said they were due for a really good game, and it took a last-second field goal after Arizona forgot to play defense in order for them to actually win. But, yeah, apparently that counts as a really good game because it goes as a win.
All you got to do is win by 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no asterisks in the standings.
That is true. Speaking of winning by 1, the Broncos did just that over the awesome clock management of the Los Angeles Clippers at home.
Rah! I didn't actually watch this game, so you guys can talk about. Holy fuck! Rivers had 401 yards.
Rivers had
Yeah.
400 yards passing.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting back and forth game, kind of close like I thought, and Denver came out with the victory in this one.
Yeah, how'd we do on this one?
Oh yeah, we had picks in this one, didn't we? So
Normally.
Something like that.
I took the Clippers money line. That didn't work. Proxy gave you over 45.5.
Zoinks.
And Token took Denver plus the 7. So he was the only one to walk away with a point in this one.
Fuck by the hook.
That sounds painful.
Depends what kind of hook.
Depends on what kind of hook. What kind of hook would not be painful?
And where is it going where it wouldn't be painful?
There's plenty of hooks out there. And plenty of hookies.
What?
I don't know. Maybe he's making a Larry Fitzgerald joke. I
I
don't get it either. I don't get half the shit he says.
oh my god.
I still thought my Larry Fitzgerald joke was good, and it went right over your heads. Anyways, yes, Rivers passed for 401 yards, but the Chargers are now 7-3, and that definitely puts a damper in their plans to win the AFC West, unless Kansas City falls to the Rams tonight.
Yeah, obviously it's a very, very steep hill for them to climb, but they're not mathematically out of it yet. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they how they bounce back from this one, because this, from what I understand, was a game that they pretty well controlled, but let it slip away. Upcoming games, they've got, not an easy schedule coming up, really. Hosting the Cardinals is fine, but then they're on the road against the Steelers. They host the Bengals, road against the Chiefs, home against the Ravens, and on the road against these same Broncos. So, not any real gimmies on here except for the Arizona game.
Token brought up a good point when it was happening. He texted us, and when McManus was lining up for that field goal, he asked a question if the line switched to 7,500 to 1 right before McManus kicked the field goal.
Yeah.
If there was another computer glitch at FanDuel.
If so, we'll definitely probably hear about it tomorrow. So
Yeah, I checked William Hill. There was no glitch at William Hill. So
it's probably suspended, like it normally is towards then.
It was suspended. I hate how they do that. They suspend the game with like 4 minutes left. I feel like instead of maybe making...
And they still have the line moves when it's suspended.
Yeah, that's even worse. But I feel like they should have, instead of that, like, some kind of, like, play props at that point. Like, what are they going to do? Will there be a pick six? I don't know, something. Give me a little something to sweat out.
Will there be a turnover or something funky like that?
Yeah, do they go touchdown? Do they go field goal? Or do they go other or something like that? Yeah, that would be a lot more fun, but William Hill doesn't see it that way.
Well, I think they would have to get it approved by gaming and move forward with it first, and then have it posted.
Okay, cool. Game that never seemed to end. I got to be honest with you, I didn't even watch the second half of this game. It was already out of reach by like the second quarter. Saints and Eagles. I think we all nailed this one too, right?
No.
No, we did.
Did we?
Yep.
We all nailed some form of this.
Yeah. Actually, Proxy's lock of the week was New Orleans money line, which is
cool because they barely won.
Which was about the easiest bet on the board. Token had New Orleans
minus 280. That wasn't bad.
Tokens had New Orleans minus the 7.5, and I barely squeaked out a point, taking under 56.
God damn it, Philly.
For exactly the reason that I thought. New Orleans is going to put up a ton, and Philly would put up nothing.
Yeah, you said the Saints would put up about 40, maybe 45, and the Eagles maybe good for 10.
Yep.
I think the Saints have scored 40 in like 4 straight games too.
Yeah.
We'll get into that when
we
talk about the Super Bowl things, because I think I'm...
you think you're switching your pick?
I think I am.
I am switching my picks as well.
Oh, you guys get to put money in the jar.
Yeah.
Ring-a-dingy.
Sweet. All right, well, not much to say in this one. Breeze, another 350-yard passing game, 4 touchdowns. Ingram and Kamara had big games. Mike Thomas had another game, 90 yards and a touchdown. And then Traquan Smith from?
UCF,
10 catches, 157 yards and a touchdown.
Probably should have been able to guess that because he's wearing the UCF hat and he's talked about UCF. He's going to be fucking insufferable at his workplace, I bet. I don't envy the people that he's going to
Yeah, thank God I don't work with him.
Yeah.
I don't talk sports at work.
Really?
I talk sports betting, but I don't talk sports at work.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, this is there
This is my outlet for UCF.
Is there a quarterback controversy in Philly right now?
No.
Between Wentz and Foles?
There should be.
Well,
I think Foles definitely deserves a shot to be the starter.
but what do you benefit by making him the starter instead of Wentz?
I think you have a better shot to win the division.
Now that
You're 4-6. I mean, you're 3 games back of the division. Well, you're 2 games back of the division. 2 games back of the division. And let's be honest, other than the Super Bowl, Nick Foles did not look that good. Yes, I'm aware of what game the Super Bowl was and how big that is, but I mean, leading up to the playoffs, he was atrocious. In the playoffs, he was average, except for that NFC Championship game. And in the Super Bowl, he obviously, like I said, he was good.
Mm-hmm. I think the main...
I mean, think how much Carson Wentz coming back from a major knee injury, and then you benching your franchise quarterback. You almost have to be done with him.
I would think so.
They're not done with Wentz.
No, he's too young. I think what really done them in this season is not protect the running back that they should have probably kept. So
Blunt?
Blunt or somebody to just move the ball, open up the pass, and
They're so hurt.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
Guy-
losing DBs. They're losing DBs week to week. Darby just got hurt with an ACO. This Josh Adams kid doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, I was big on Smallwood originally, but he hasn't done the
That's only because you relate to him. Oh, come on. That was a good one. He only doesn't laugh because he knows it's true. I mean, look, they've lost Ajayi. Clement and Smallwood are virtually nothing. Sproles has been out this year, but he's 347 years old. Nothing except for Alshon Jeffrey and Zach Ertz have been relevant this year from the receiving core. They just lost Kelsey this week. And let's see, on defense, I think, they've lost three straight weeks of losing guys in the secondary, which Jalen Mills and Darby are the big names. It's hard to play defense when the rules are set up against you and half of your starting unit is out. So I'm not trying to give excuses for the Philadelphia Eagles, but that combined with all of the Super Bowl hangover, it matters. But the thing is you're right. I mean, if any point in time they can turn it around, it's going to be the next 3 weeks, because the next 3 weeks are division games that if they can win them, I mean, they got a winnable game against the Giants, and they got a winnable game against the Alex Smith-less Redskins.
Right, and that's kind of what I was getting at with the quarterback controversy. Is right now, who gives you a better chance of winning those games? Is it Ertz or
Ertz.
Foles? I'm not
Zach Ertz
convinced.
is a tight end.
Or not Ertz. Wentz or Foles.
I say it's still. Now you got me saying Ertz. No, I'd say it's still Wentz at this point. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see, how did Ertz do? God damn it, I'm saying Ertz. Yeah, that was not good. 157 and 3 picks. That's not great.
if they would have came marginally close, that would have been close for your bold prediction.
No. It was never going to be close.
I just think they aren't that good. They're not as good as the Super Bowl team, and I don't think that's strictly just because of LeGarrette Blount. I mean, I think I got lucky a lot last year. Not a good team.
I think Breeze had a not so great game, only passing for about 70% of his completions.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah. Saints are on a roll to possibly have a new record after this season. Interesting stat. Coming into this game, they had scored on 61% of their possessions. Who currently holds the record, though? I'll give that to you, Spike.
If you're pointing at me, I'm going to assume it's New England at some point.
It is New England. When they went 16-0, they converted on 53% of their possessions of scoring.
Well, the only reason he went to you is because he already told me that while we were watching their game.
Oh, well, there you go, too.
So, if you wouldn't have fun fact trivia for the podcast, you probably shouldn't tell me beforehand.
Yeah. But, whatever.
I would have guessed Rex Grossman's Chicago Bears as the best team, efficiently wise. They were great. Remember them?
I remember them. I don't remember them being great efficiently, but I remember the team. Sexy Rexy.
They got games over quickly with their great run game. Bears-Vikings, the Sunday night matchup. I don't know what to make of this. The Vikings played far worse than a team who lost by 5. Let's just put it that way. How'd we do?
Proxy killed you again. Minnesota plus the 2.5.
Yeah, I would have been on that, though. So.
And then Token and I, Chicago minus the 2.5, getting a point apiece.
I forgot to say that the Saints game, when you told me he had New Orleans money line, would have saved me because I was on the Eagles as well. So.
Were you?
Yeah, I told you there were some games.
I
told you there were some games that he saved me, even though there's some games that he fucked me.
And then it almost balanced out, right? So.
Yeah. So what was this one? I had the Vikings.
You had the Vikings. The other two of us had Chicago minus 2.5 for the win.
I almost made this my lock of the week, like I said, coming in, but I saved that for tonight's game. So
maybe you should have made it your lock of the week.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a way they could have fucked it up at then. They are the Bears.
Yeah, but they still won by 5. It would have been good for your lock of the week.
I know.
All right. 7-3 Bears.
Control of that division.
It's true. Yeah, I mean
game and a half up.
Is that what they call it? Yeah, with the tie. That's still crazy with the tie.
Yeah.
Vikings are still in the playoffs right now, though, at 5-4-1.
Because of the tie.
Yeah, it's true. Well, they would be tied with the Cowboys if they were 5-5.
Mm-hmm.
A lot less teams at 5-5 in this conference.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Bears looking to cruise ahead. They play the Lions on Thanksgiving this week. Coming up in Detroit. I think the Bears will have some lion meat on Thanksgiving.
You say things.
We have no run game, a half-decent quarterback, a decent defense, I would say, but that's about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Bears' schedule from here on out, after the Lions, they get the Giants, and they're home against the Rams, home against the Packers, on the road against the Niners, and then home again, or on the road again against these Vikings. So
I think they can go 3-3 down that stretch.
On the road against the Vikings, finishing the last two.
Yeah, 10-6, and that
should win the division.
that's
I think
good enough for the division. Yeah, you're probably right.
should, unless if the Vikings won't run the table. The Lions run the table, they would finish 10-6, but that ain't happening.
Well, the worst part would be the Vikings running the table, or only losing one more game and being 10-5-1, and winning the division at 10-5-1.
I mean, who do the Vikings have coming up?
The Vikings' only realistic loss they have left, well, that's not true. I would say they got 3 tough games coming up. Packers, they always play tough. They get them at home. And they go to the Patriots and they go to the Seahawks. I mean, those are tough games.
Yeah.
All of them are definitely losable.
Home against Miami. Miami's probably got nothing to play for then. Detroit's probably out of the hunt and just trying to get a better draft pick, so they're probably going to tank and might come down to the last game of the year for the division.
Question. Do you think the Vikings are having buyer's remorse on Kirk Cousins?
No.
Compared to what they were getting out of Case Keenum last year, no.
You don't think so? Case Keenum was far more efficient and probably would have been far cheaper.
Cheaper, yes, but I don't think the efficiency is what they were caring about. They needed more yards, more points, more everything in order for them to get to that next level where they thought they could be getting into the Super Bowl, and they didn't think they could do that with Keenum.
But did they think they would virtually be 500 with Kirk Cousins? I mean, if not for Mason Crosby breaking a field goal, they would be 5-5. And they've lost to the Bills, which was... I mean, you just don't lose that game.
You're just never going to stop talking about that game, are you?
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, with the dumps... I mean, if we talked about Nathan Peterman and Josh Allen clearly not ready to be a quarterback... You don't. Well, okay, even if you lose that game, you don't lose that game by 21 points.
The reverse spread.
You don't get housed.
Yeah, no, that was a bad one.
So, yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, you're right. I probably don't feel buyer's remorse yet. But I feel like Case Keenum, I mean, I don't want to make a hot take, but I feel like Case Keenum would have this team in a better position than Kirk Cousins does. And even if that meant 6-4, even if that meant one game better, I feel like Case Keenum operated the offense better. And I also feel like this team is way more efficient without Dalvin Cook, too. And I feel like the need to feed him the ball is not working. And I don't know if that's, a product of forced game plan, but I don't know. Latavius Murray was running the ball just fine, and something's just not clicking with this team. I don't know what it is. And
so I'll give you the 2 quarterback stats, and you can tell me which one you think is which.
Well, that's impossible to compare because Case Keenum's stats are in Denver right now.
Right, but
okay. I mean, you can. Okay.
I mean, you were talking about efficiency.
They're comparable-ish teams.
You were talking about efficiency. One of them is at 63.3%. One of them is at 70.7%.
I'm going to say that Keenum's 70%.
You're incorrect.
Okay.
One of them has 11 touchdowns. One of them has 19.
Cousins probably has the 19.
Cousins has 19.
Okay.
One of them has 7 interceptions. One of them has 10.
Cousins has
10.
Cousins has 7.
Okay, so 19-7 versus 10
11 and 10.
11 and 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then yardage is 2605 to 2947.
So
Cousins
one
has
300-yard game.
There's a 350-yard difference between the two. And Cousins is the one at 29.
Okay.
So I know that you don't want to compare.
Has Cousins played the Rams, Chiefs, Texans, and Ravens?
Yes, Cousins has played all of those teams by himself. He has played the.
He did play the Rams on a
Yeah.
Thursday night back-to-back and got. Well, they didn't get housed. They got beat, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah, I mean, they played.
The thing is, you're looking
decent
at
matchup.
Keenum going into a new system, going into a brand new team, a brand new system, and trying to develop with a team that's not as talented as Minnesota. My point being is that if he stayed in Minnesota, he would have another year of the offense. I feel that they would be in a better position with Case Keenum.
Yeah, and I disagree. I think Cousins is what they expected him to be, more being able to lead a more potent offense. And the fact that they are not winning games is obviously everybody's going to look at the quarterback, but it's not all on him. I think if they had kept Case Keenum, right now the Vikings are 5-4-1. I don't think they're that good even with Case Keenum.
That sounds like a poll.
Do it.
You should tweet Mark Sanchez and ask him.
Yes, we'll see if he
Well,
responds.
he's busy this week. He might make a roster.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know.
He's working on his arm a little.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Be interesting. I don't know. I'm curious what that poll would come out. How do I ask that question?
You say the Bears are 5-4-1 with Kirk Cousins.
So the Vikings.
The Viking. The Bears are.
The Bears are 5-4-1 with Zach Ertz as quarterback.
Yes. And the Vikings are 5-4-1 with Kirk Cousins. Do they have a better or worse record with Case Keenum?
If Case Keenum was the quarterback.
Yeah.
I think they'd be 5-5 at this spot.
That would be a worse record.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you look at it,
maybe
they've suffered no major injuries. They've added a piece in Dalvin Cook, and I believe, pull up Minnesota's 17 record.
Minnesota's actual record?
2017 schedule. Excuse me.
I'll give you one thing that I'm looking at on Kirk Cousins.
Because I think he didn't play the first 2 games.
Because you were talking about how he played the Rams, and he put up 72% completion against the Rams, 422 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks for a rating of 117.3. You think Keenum is better or worse than that against the Rams with this Vikings team?
Well, the question is let me look at that box score and see what point were they already behind. 28-20, 30-20, 38-20. They were down 38-20 going into the 4th. So they were down virtually most of the game. But you're right, 36 of 50. He was the leading rusher in that game too. I don't know. I'm not saying that he's the worst. I'm not saying Keenum's the better quarterback. I just think in the system, for the money you could have saved and been able to add free agents and potentially better other parts of the team, because their defense is definitely taking a step back as well too. I think we would all admit that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But to have to pay Kirk Cousins $27 million a year, something like that.
It's 20.
I think he had $84 million over 3 years, so whatever that is.
What was the Vikings' record last year?
13-3, I think.
13-3 is correct.
13-3.
Yeah, 3-year deal, 84 mil, so 28 mil.
And Case Keenum didn't start till week 3, so he went 11-2. Yeah, or he went 12-2. Excuse me.
Yeah, because they lost.
Week
2 to the Steelers.
They won the first game, lost the second game.
What the hell is going on with this table?
Well, when you push it, it moves.
I barely touched it.
Well, you're big.
Jesus Christ.
It's an IKEA table. It doesn't even, they're not together. It's like laid on top.
I must have magic fingers then, because I really only use 2 fingers and I move this thing.
See, your wife complains a lot about that.
Speaking of, when are you going to man up and actually make the producer an honest woman?
I don't know. That's a weird one to ask on the podcast. Wow, where are we at here?
Larry
I'll
Fitzgerald.
tell you what, when Kirk Cousins wins a Super Bowl, she'll get proposed.
There we go. When Mark Sanchez responds to one of her tweets.
Yeah, when Mark Sanchez says, do it, I will.
All right, there we go.
All right, this shit went off the rails.
Well, if you're still listening.
Yeah, at this point, you probably turned it off in favor of the Monday night game. All right, well, let's close the book on the Week 11 at this point, because I'm baffled.
It went down the shitter.
Super Bowl picks. I got Pittsburgh in L.A. I'm sticking with it.
Pittsburgh and LA. All right, Token, you have the Rams in Kansas City.
Changing it both sides.
Ooh, all right.
Patriots, Bears.
Wow.
So he owes $2.
Yeah.
Why would you change it
Why wouldn't you?
to the Bears?
I mean, the Bears.
I think they're a legit contender to win the NFC. I think they won't win the Super Bowl, though.
What are they to win the NFC right now?
Coming into today, they were 14-1. They're probably about
Better
8-1.
than that, yeah.
Probably around 8-1 or something.
About you? You had
Yeah,
Pats and Rams?
I had Pats and Rams. I am swapping out the Rams. I'm taking the Saints.
All right.
So you owe $1.
I owe $1. So we are up to $5 total for this.
$5 in the jar. What are we going to order on Grubhub for $5?
That pays for what? The delivery fee?
Probably not even.
Yeah, exactly. That's the tip. Just the tip.
Yeah.
You saw that one coming.
Yeah.
I thought about not saying it for about half a
I
second.
think Mark Sanchez even saw that one coming.
All right, this podcast went off the rails, and it's over now. So we want to thank you for listening, quote unquote. Wondering what the fuck we're talking about. Thanks to 12-ounce squares.
Biggest square or biggest rectangles.
Yeah, thanks to 12-ounce. I did it again almost. Thanks to 12-ounce Sports for putting this on. This has been our last episode on 12-ounce Sports, more than likely.
Oh my God.
Thanks to Chai Poker for supporting us.
What is wrong with us today?
This has been our last episode with Chai Poker as a sponsor. Thanks to VGK Pop Sockets. This has been our last podcast with VGK Pop Sockets. So we're currently looking for new sponsors because everybody's about to drop us.
Speaking about dropping.
Oh no.
Oh boy, let's end it there. Thanks for listening. Oh, what are the final tallies?
Oh, I already shut it. I don't know.
Oh well, goodbye.